The cake had 32 candles on it. Not 32 individual candles, thank God. Just one of those number candles from Target that cost $4.99 and smells faintly like gasoline when you light it. My mom had insisted on the birthday dinner. It's tradition, she'd said over the phone, like we were some royal family and not just 5 people who shared awkward meals 3 times a year. I'm Adrian, by the way. 32. Marketing coordinator at a mid-sized nonprofit that works on urban sustainability projects. Decent pay, good benefits, meaningful work. Nothing flashy. But solid. My older brother? That's Dylan. 35. VP of sales at some tech startup that had raised $12 million in Series B funding. He drove a Tesla. Wore a Rolex. Had business cards so thick they could double as coasters. The dinner was at Mom and Dad's house. The dining room table was set with the nice plates, the ones we only used when someone was trying to prove something. Dylan showed up late, naturally. Walked in like he was entering a shareholder meeting, kissing Mom on the cheek and clapping Dad on the shoulder. Traffic was brutal, he said, even though he lived 15 minutes away. His wife Amber followed behind him, holding their toddler. She gave me a polite smile. The kind you give someone you don't really know but have to be nice to at family functions. We sat. Mom brought out the pot roast. Dad poured wine. Dylan immediately started talking about his company's latest product launch. We're projecting 20% growth this quarter. The investors are ecstatic. We might even expand to a second office. Mom beamed. That's wonderful, honey. Where would the second office be? Dad asked. Austin, probably. Maybe Seattle. Somewhere with a good tech scene. I took a bite of pot roast. It was dry. Adrian, how's work? Mom asked, clearly remembering I existed. Good. We just finished a campaign to reduce single-use plastics in the downtown core. Got some good press coverage. Oh, that's nice, she said, the same tone she'd use if I told her I'd organized my sock drawer. Dylan smiled. Still saving the world one reusable straw at a time? Everyone chuckled. Polite. Light. Harmless. Except it wasn't. Something like that, I said. Must be rewarding. Amber chimed in, trying to be supportive. It is. Dylan leaned back in his chair, swirling his wine. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nonprofits are great. Someone's gotta do it. But man, I don't know how you survive on that salary. I set down my fork. I do fine. Sure. But like, comparatively. You're what, 45? 50? 62, I said flatly. He laughed. Jesus. 62,000? Adrian, my bonus last year was more than your annual salary. Mom shifted uncomfortably. Dylan. What? I'm just saying. I couldn't do it. I'd feel like I was spinning my wheels, you know? Working hard but not really getting anywhere. Some people measure success differently, I said, keeping my voice even. Right. The whole fulfillment over finances thing. I get it. But at some point, you gotta ask yourself if you're building something real or just treading water. Dad nodded slowly, like Dylan had just said something profound. I looked around the table. Mom was staring at her plate. Amber was busying herself with the toddler. Dad was refilling his wine glass. Nobody said anything. Anyway, Dylan continued, I'm just saying, it's never too late to pivot. If you ever want to jump into the private sector, I could put in a word somewhere. Give you an entry-level gig. Something with growth potential. Entry-level. At 32. Thanks, I said. I'm good where I am. Suit yourself? Just hate to see you stuck, you know? Stuck. That word hung in the air like smoke. Mom cleared her throat. Who wants cake? The cake was chocolate. Store-bought. The frosting was too sweet, and the layers were uneven. Mom stuck the numbered candles in the center and lit them. Everyone sang happy birthday in that half-hearted way people do when they're obligated. I made a wish. Blew out the candles. Dylan clapped. There we go! Another year older, another year wiser. Or just older, I said. He laughed again. Come on, man. Don't be so sensitive. I'm just busting your chops. I know. But I wasn't laughing. We ate cake. Made small talk. Dylan told another story about a client dinner where they ordered a $300 bottle of wine. Amber showed us photos of their recent trip to Napa. I finished my slice. Drank some water. Checked the time. I should probably head out, I said, standing. Already? Mom asked. Yeah. Early morning tomorrow. On a Saturday? Dylan raised an eyebrow. Some of us don't have the luxury of flexible schedules. He grinned. Ouch. Touché. I grabbed my jacket. Thanked Mom for dinner. Gave Dad a quick hug. Nodded at Dylan and Amber. And I left. Drove home in silence. Parked in my apartment lot. Sat in the car for 10 minutes, staring at nothing. Dead-end career. Stuck. Treading water. Those words played on a loop in my head. I wasn't angry. Not really. Just tired. Tired of being the punchline. The one whose job was cute but not impressive. The one whose success was always qualified with, but, or, at least. I went inside. Poured a drink. Sat on my couch and opened my laptop. Out of curiosity, or maybe spite, I googled Dylan's company. Bright, flashy website. Buzzwords everywhere. Disruptive. Innovative. Synergistic. I clicked on the About Us page. Read the mission statement. It was vague. Corporate speak designed to sound important without saying anything. Then I clicked on Careers. They were hiring. A lot. Sales reps, account managers, marketing leads. All the job postings had one thing in common: aggressive growth targets, commission-based pay, high turnover industries. I closed the laptop. And for the first time that night I smiled. Because I knew something Dylan didn't. Companies that grow that fast? They don't always land softly. 3 months later, I got promoted. Not a huge promotion. Just a step up. From coordinator to manager. A title change and a bump in salary. Nothing that would make headlines. But it was mine. My boss pulled me into her office on a Thursday afternoon. Adrian, you've been doing great work. The board approved a new role, and we think you're the right fit. Thank you. It comes with more responsibility. Leading a team. Managing budgets. Are you up for it? Absolutely. She smiled. Good. You start next month. I didn't tell my family right away. Didn't see the point. But a few weeks later, Mom called. Dylan's company is doing layoffs. I paused. What? I know. It's awful. He's stressed out of his mind. Apparently their investors pulled some funding. They have to restructure. Is Dylan okay? For now. But he's worried. Amber's worried. We're all worried. I'm sure he'll be fine. I hope so. He's worked so hard. I didn't say what I was thinking, that I'd worked hard too. That my job was stable. That nonprofits don't collapse when investors get cold feet. Instead, I said, let me know if there's anything I can do. Thanks, honey. How are things with you? Good. Actually, I got promoted. Oh. That's wonderful. What's the new title? Sustainability Programs Manager. That sounds important. It is. Well, good for you, sweetie. I'll let you go. Talk soon. She hung up before I could say anything else. I sat there, phone in hand, staring at the screen. And that's when I realized. My promotion was. Good for you. Dylan's potential layoffs were. We're all worried. Same family. Different priorities. 6 months after my birthday, Dylan's company shut down. Not layoffs. Not restructuring. Full closure. The investors had pulled out completely. The CEO resigned. The remaining staff got 2 weeks severance and a generic "Thank you for your service" email. Dylan called me the day it happened. Adrian. Hey. I heard. I'm sorry, man. Yeah. It's a lot. What are you going to do? I don't know. Start applying, I guess. There's a few companies I've been looking at. Should be fine. He didn't sound fine. If you need anything. I'm good. Just wanted to let you know. Figured you'd hear it from Mom anyway. Yeah. Take care of yourself. You too. He hung up. I set my phone down and stared at the ceiling. Part of me felt bad. He was my brother. He was going through a rough time. But another part, the part that had sat through that birthday dinner and been called stuck, felt something else. Not quite satisfaction. Not quite vindication. Just clarity. Because while Dylan was scrambling to update his LinkedIn and network with old contacts, I was sitting in my stable job with my stable paycheck and my stable future. Not glamorous. Not flashy. But solid. And suddenly, that felt like more than enough. Dylan's job search lasted 3 months. I knew because Mom updated me every other week, her voice tight with worry. He's been interviewing everywhere. The market's just tough right now. I'm sure something will come up. I'd say, and I meant it. I wasn't rooting against him. I just wasn't losing sleep over it either. Meanwhile, my new role was kicking my ass in the best way possible. I was managing a team of 5. Running campaigns across 3 cities. My boss, Karen, had given me full creative control over our biggest project yet, a zero-waste initiative partnership with local businesses. It was exactly the kind of work Dylan had called treading water. Except now I had a team. A budget. Real impact. One afternoon, I was in a meeting with our city council liaison when my phone buzzed. Dylan calling. I declined it. Sent a quick text, in a meeting. What's up? 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Dylan, need to talk. It's important. I pocketed my phone and got back to the presentation. 2 hours later, I called him back. Hey, sorry. What's going on? I need a favor. Of course. What kind of favor? He exhaled, long and heavy. I've been looking for 3 months. Sent out over 200 applications. Got maybe 15 interviews. No offers. That's rough. Yeah. So I was thinking, your company. The nonprofit. Are you guys hiring? I paused. Sat down on a bench outside my office building. Dylan, we're always hiring. But the pay. I don't care about the pay. I just need something stable while I figure things out. Something stable. While he figured things out. The same job he'd called a dead end was now his safety net. What position are you looking at? I asked. I don't know. Whatever you think I'd be good at. Marketing, maybe? I've got the experience. Send me your resume. I'll pass it along to HR. Really? Thanks, man. I owe you. You don't owe me anything. Just send it over. He did. That night. I opened it. Read through it. It was inflated. Not lying exactly, but stretching the truth like taffy. Led cross-functional teams. Meant he'd been in group emails. Drove revenue growth of 40%. Was technically true if you counted the quarter before the company imploded. Spearheaded innovative campaigns. Meant he'd posted on LinkedIn. I forwarded it to HR with a note. My brother's looking for work. He's got marketing experience. Let me know if anything fits. Professional. Neutral. No pressure. Then I went back to my actual job. A week later, Karen called me into her office. Adrian, sit. I want to talk to you about something. I sat. You've been doing incredible work. The city council loved your presentation. The zero waste campaign is ahead of schedule. Your team actually likes you, which is rare. Thanks. We've been talking internally. We're opening a new office. I blinked. Where? Paris. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Paris, France? Paris, France. We're partnering with the European Sustainability Network. It's a 2-year pilot program. We need someone to lead it. Someone who understands our mission but can also think globally. Okay. We want you. I stared at her. Me? You. Full relocation package. Housing stipend. Visa sponsorship. Competitive salary bump. It's a big opportunity, Adrian. When would I start? 3 months. If you say yes? I sat there, trying to process. Paris. Leading an international office. At a nonprofit Dylan had mocked as a dead end. I need to think about it. Of course. Take a week. But Adrian? She smiled. You've earned this. I didn't tell anyone right away. Not my parents. Not Dylan. Not even my friends. I just sat with it. Let it sink in. 3 days later, Dylan texted. Dylan, any word from your HR? Me, not yet. These things take time. Dylan, yeah, I figured. Thanks again for putting in a word. I stared at the message. Put in a word. Like I'd done him some huge favor instead of just forwarding a resume. The next day, I got an email from HR. Hi Adrian, we reviewed your brother's application. Unfortunately, we don't have any openings that match his experience level at this time. We'll keep his resume on file. Thanks for the referral. I forwarded it to Dylan with a short note. Sorry, man. They said no openings right now. His response came fast. Dylan, seriously? I thought you had pull there. Me, I'm a manager, not the CEO. Dylan, whatever. Thanks for trying, I guess. I locked my phone. And that's when I made my decision. I emailed Karen back. I'm in. Let's do Paris. 2 weeks later, I told my parents over dinner. Not a big dinner. Just the 3 of us. Thai takeout on paper plates. So, I have some news. Mom looked up from her pad thai. Good news? I think so. My company's opening an office in Paris. They want me to lead it. Dad set down his fork. Paris? Yeah. It's a 2-year program. Full relocation package. I'd be running the whole operation. Mom blinked. That's wonderful, honey. Wow. When do you leave? Dad asked. 2 months. They sat there, processing. Have you told Dylan? Mom asked. Of course. That was the first question. Not yet. You should. He'd be happy for you. Would he? I'll tell him soon. We finished dinner. Made small talk. They asked logistical questions, where I'd live, how often I'd visit if I spoke French. But nobody said the thing we were all thinking. That the kid with the dead-end career was moving to Paris. And the VP of sales was still unemployed. I told Dylan the next day over coffee. He showed up looking tired. Unshaven. Wearing a hoodie I remembered from college. Thanks for meeting, he said, sliding into the booth. Of course. We ordered. He got black coffee. I got a latte. So, any luck with the job hunt? I asked. Not really. Had a few more interviews. Nothing panned out. I'm sorry, man. Yeah. He stirred his coffee. It's been rough. I thought I'd have something by now. But the market's brutal. It'll turn around. I hope so. Amber's getting stressed. We've had to cut back on a lot. Daycare, groceries, everything. I nodded. Anyway. What's new with you? This was it. Actually, I have some news. My company's opening an office in Paris. They asked me to run it. He looked up. Paris? Yeah. France? France. He set down his spoon. Slow. Deliberate. Wow. That's great, Adrian. Congrats. His voice was flat. Mechanical. Thanks. When do you leave? 2 months. 2 months. He repeated it like he was trying to make it make sense. So you're just moving to Paris. To run an office. Yeah. For the nonprofit. Yeah. He laughed. Not a happy laugh. A hollow one. What? I asked. Nothing. It's just funny. What's funny? A year ago, I told you that job was a dead end. And now you're moving to Paris. Yeah. Things change. They sure do. He took a long sip of coffee. I applied there, you know. Your company. I know. I forwarded your resume. And they said no? They said no openings. Right. No openings. Except for Paris, apparently. I didn't respond. Did you apply for that job? He asked. No. They offered it to me. Of course they did. Dylan. No, it's fine. I'm happy for you. Really. He stood up. I gotta go. Amber's waiting. You just got here. I know. But I should go. He left a $5 bill on the table and walked out. I sat there, staring at my latte. And for the first time since my birthday, I felt something other than calm. I felt sad. Not guilty. Not sorry. Just sad. Because Dylan was my brother. And I didn't want to see him struggle. But I also wasn't going to apologize for succeeding. That night, Mom called. Dylan told me about Paris. Yeah. He seemed upset. I know. Adrian, I know you're excited. But maybe don't mention it around him too much. He's going through a hard time. I closed my eyes. Mom, I'm not going to hide my career to make Dylan feel better. I'm not asking you to hide it. I'm just asking you to be sensitive. I am being sensitive. But I'm also allowed to be proud. Silence. I just don't want this to create tension, she said. Then maybe Dylan should be happy for me. The way I was happy for him when he got his VP job. That's different. How? Because he needed that validation. You're already secure. I laughed. Actually laughed. I'm secure because I worked for it. Not because anyone validated me. Adrian. I have to go, Mom. I'll talk to you later. I hung up. And I realized something. I'd been quiet my whole life. Let Dylan have the spotlight. Let him be the success story. But now it was my turn. And I wasn't going to apologize for shining. The next 6 weeks were a blur of logistics and goodbyes. Visa applications. Apartment hunting via video calls. Learning basic French from an app that congratulated me every time I correctly pronounced croissant. My team threw me a going-away party. Nothing fancy, just pizza and cheap wine in the conference room. But they made a card. Everyone signed it. Sarah from accounting wrote, Paris is lucky to have you. It was the kind of thing my family never said. Dylan didn't reach out. Not a text. Not a call. Nothing. Mom would occasionally mention him in passing. Dylan's still looking. Amber's working extra shifts. They're really struggling. Always with that tone. The one that said, you should feel guilty for doing well while your brother suffers. But I didn't. Not anymore. 2 weeks before my flight, I went to one last family dinner. Dad's 60th birthday. A small backyard gathering. Burgers on the grill. Folding chairs. A sheet cake from Costco. Dylan was there. Amber too. Their kid was running around with a juice box. When I arrived, Mom hugged me too tight. We're so proud of you, honey. Dad shook my hand. Paris. That's something. Dylan was at the grill, flipping burgers with the focus of someone avoiding eye contact. I walked over. Hey. Need help? I'm good. We stood there in silence. The grill hissed. A burger flipped. Dylan, don't. He didn't look at me. Just don't. I wasn't going to apologize. Good. Because you shouldn't have to. He finally looked at me. I was a dick at your birthday. I made fun of your job. And now you're moving to Paris and I can't even get an interview callback. It's not a competition. I know. But it feels like one. And I'm losing. I didn't know what to say to that. I'm happy for you, he said, quieter now. I'm just also not. Does that make sense? Yeah. I thought I had it figured out. The Tesla, the title, the investors. I thought I was set. And then it all fell apart. And you. He laughed, bitter. You were just steady. Consistent. Building something real while I was chasing flash. Dylan. I'm not asking for pity. I'm just saying. I get it now. What you do matters. And I'm sorry I didn't see that before. It was the closest thing to an apology I'd ever gotten from him. Thanks. He nodded. Flipped another burger. When do you leave? 2 weeks. You excited? Terrified, mostly. He smiled. A real one this time. You're gonna kill it. I hope so. We stood there a while longer. Not talking. Just existing next to each other like we used to as kids. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't closure. But it was something. The day before my flight, I got an email from HR. Subject: Dylan Harris application update. I almost deleted it. But curiosity won. Hi Adrian, just wanted to let you know your brother applied again for a position. We have an opening for a communications coordinator. Entry level. The pay is $48,000. If you'd like to recommend him, let us know. Entry level. For a guy who used to be a VP. I stared at the email for a long time. Then I replied, yes. Recommend him. He'll be good. And I meant it. Not because I felt guilty. Not because Mom asked me to. But because he'd apologized. And that mattered. 3 days later, already in Paris, jet-lagged and disoriented, I got a text. Dylan, got the job. Start Monday. Thank you. Me, you earned it. Dylan, did I though? Me, you will. He didn't respond. But an hour later, he sent a single emoji, thumb up. And that was enough. Paris was overwhelming. The office was smaller than I expected. 4 desks, 1 conference room, a kitchenette with an espresso machine that looked like it belonged in a spaceship. My team was 2 French nationals, 1 German expat, and an intern from Belgium who spoke 5 languages and made me feel illiterate. But the work was incredible. We were coordinating with city officials, environmental groups, local businesses. Real policy work. Real impact. I was in meetings with people who'd been doing this for decades. People who took me seriously. Who valued my input. Every day felt like proof that Dylan had been wrong. This wasn't a dead end. This was a launch pad. One afternoon, about a month in, I was in a cafe near the office. Trying to read a French menu and failing miserably. My phone buzzed. Mom calling. I answered. Hey Mom. Adrian. How's Paris? Good. Busy. How's everything there? Good. Dylan started his new job. He seems to like it. That's great. He said you put in a good word. I did. Silence. Then, thank you. I know things have been tense between you two. But that was really kind. He apologized, Mom. That's all I needed. More silence. I'm sorry too, she said quietly. For what? For asking you to dim your lights so Dylan wouldn't feel bad. That wasn't fair. I sat up straighter. Mom, you've always been steady, Adrian. Reliable. And I think we took that for granted. Dylan was loud, so we paid attention to him. But you were building something real the whole time. And I'm sorry we didn't see it sooner. My throat tightened. Thanks, Mom. We're proud of you. Really proud. I just wanted you to know that. We talked for another 10 minutes. About Paris, about Dylan, about nothing important. When we hung up, I sat there in the cafe, staring at my phone. It wasn't a grand apology. It wasn't a dramatic speech. But it was something I'd needed to hear for a long time. 3 months into Paris, I got a LinkedIn message. From Dylan's old company. Or what was left of it. Hi Adrian, we're restructuring under new ownership. We came across your profile and are impressed by your work. Would you be interested in discussing a VP-level role in our sustainability division? I read it twice. VP level. At the company that had collapsed and left Dylan jobless. The irony was almost funny. I didn't respond right away. Just sat with it. Then I opened a new message to Dylan. Me, random question. If you could go back and do anything differently with your old company, what would it be? He replied an hour later. Dylan, I'd have actually cared about the mission instead of just the money. Why? Me, just curious. Dylan, you get a job offer from them? Me, maybe. Dylan, don't take it. That place is toxic. They'll just burn through you. Me, thanks for the heads up. Dylan, anytime. I closed LinkedIn. Sent a polite decline to the recruiter. And got back to work on a project that actually mattered. 6 months in, Karen flew out to visit. We had dinner at a bistro near the Seine. She ordered wine. I got a beer. So, she said, how's it feel? Exhausting. Amazing. Surreal. You're doing incredible work, Adrian. The board is thrilled. The partners are thrilled. You've exceeded every expectation. Thanks. I'm serious. We're already talking about extending the pilot program. Maybe even making this a permanent office. Really? Really. And we want you to stay. Long term. If you're interested. I looked out at the river. The lights reflecting on the water. The people walking by, living their lives. Yeah, I said. I'm interested. Karen smiled. Good. Because we're not letting you go. We finished dinner. Walked along the river. Talked about budgets and timelines and all the boring logistics that somehow felt exciting. When I got back to my apartment that night, I opened my laptop. Scrolled through old photos. Found one from my 32nd birthday. The dry cake. The cheap candles. The table full of people who laughed when Dylan called my job a dead end. I stared at it for a long time. Then I closed the laptop. That version of me, the one who sat quietly and took the jokes, was gone. This version? This version was in Paris. Leading a team. Building something that mattered. And nobody could take that away. A week later, Dylan called me. Not texted. Called. Hey, what's up? I answered. I need to tell you something. Okay. I got a promotion. At your company. Well, our company now. Dylan, that's amazing. Yeah. It's not VP or anything. Just a senior coordinator. But it's something. It's a big something. I know. And I wanted to say. I'm glad you got me in here. I was skeptical at first. Thought it was beneath me. But I actually like it. The work means something, you know? I know. And I wanted to say I'm sorry. Again. For everything I said at your birthday. You were right. I was wrong. And I'm trying to do better. Dylan, you don't have to keep apologizing. Yeah, I do. Because I was an asshole. And you deserve better. I smiled. Thanks, man. Anyway. I should go. Just wanted to share the news. I'm proud of you. Yeah? Yeah. He laughed. That's weird to hear. Get used to it. We hung up. I sat on my tiny Parisian balcony, looking out at the city. And for the first time in my life, I felt like my family finally saw me. Not as the quiet one. Not as the backup plan. But as someone who built something worth respecting. And that felt better than any birthday cake ever could. My 33rd birthday fell on a Tuesday. I woke up in my Paris apartment to rain tapping against the window. Made coffee in my tiny kitchen. Checked my phone. 12 messages. All birthday wishes. Mom, happy birthday, sweetheart. So proud of you. Dad, happy birthday, son. Hope Paris is treating you well. Dylan, happy birthday, bro. You old now. I smiled at that last one. Then I scrolled down. Karen, happy birthday. Team meeting at 10. Bring croissants. My team had sent a group message with cake emojis. Even Sarah from accounting back home had remembered. I sat there, coffee in hand, looking at all these messages from people who actually cared. And I realized something. This was what birthdays were supposed to feel like. Not performative. Not obligatory. Just seen. That afternoon, the team surprised me with a cake. A real French patisserie cake with layers of cream and berries that probably cost more than my first car payment. They sang happy birthday in 3 languages. Badly. On purpose. Jean-Baptiste, my French colleague, clinked his coffee cup against mine. To Adrian, who left America to save Europe from itself. Everyone laughed. I don't know about saving, I said. You are too modest, Marie chimed in. The city council loves you. The partners love you. Even Pierre loves you, and Pierre hates everyone. Pierre, in turn, shrugged. This is true. More laughter. We ate cake. Talked about the project. Made plans for next quarter. And nobody mentioned my salary. Nobody questioned my choices. Nobody made me feel small for doing work that mattered. I took a photo of the cake, posted it on social media with a simple caption: 33 in Paris. Grateful. Within an hour, it had 40 likes. Dylan commented, "Living the dream, man." And for once, there was no sarcasm in it. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. International. I almost didn't answer. But something told me to pick up. Hello? Adrian Harris? Yeah? This is Michel Arnaud from the European Sustainability Network. We've been watching your work in Paris very closely. I sat up straighter. Okay. We're expanding our operations into North America. Opening offices in New York, Toronto, and San Francisco. We need someone to lead the expansion. Someone who understands both the European model and the American market. Okay. Your name came up in every single conversation. We'd like to offer you the position. Director of North American Operations. I blinked. Director? Yes. Based in New York initially, but with significant travel. The salary is competitive. Very competitive. And the scope of the role is, well, it's significant. He named a number. I had to ask him to repeat it. It was more than double what I made now. More than Dylan had made as a VP. I need time to think about it, I said. Of course. Take a week. But Adrian? You're our first choice. We hope you'll say yes. We hung up. I sat there on my tiny balcony, watching the sun set over Paris, holding a job offer that would change everything. I called Dylan first. Not Mom. Not Dad. Dylan. He answered on the second ring. Hey, what's up? I got a job offer. Nice. Doing what? Director of North American Operations for a European Sustainability Network. Silence. Then, holy shit. Yeah. What's the pay? I told him. Holy shit. He said again. Adrian, that's incredible. It means leaving Paris. But it's New York. That's not exactly a downgrade. I know. I finally got settled here. The team's great. The work is great. And now I have to decide if I want to start over again. Do you want my honest opinion? Yeah. Take it. Not because of the money. Not because of the title. But because you've spent your whole life playing it safe. This is your chance to bet on yourself. Big. When did you get so wise? He laughed. Since I got humbled. Turns out losing everything teaches you a lot. How's the job going, by the way? Good, actually. Really good. I'm working on a campaign for clean water access in underserved communities. It's not glamorous, but it feels real. You know? I know. You gave me that, man. By getting me this job. By not writing me off. I won't forget that. You earned it, Dylan. We both did. We talked for another 20 minutes. About the job. About life. About nothing important. When we hung up, I felt lighter. Like I'd finally gotten my brother back. 3 days later, I flew home. Not to stay. Just to visit. To think. To see everyone before I made my decision. Mom insisted on a family dinner. Same house. Same table. Different energy. Dylan was there with Amber and the kid. Dad had grilled steaks. Mom made her famous potato salad. We sat. We ate. We talked. So, Dad said, Dylan tells us you got quite the job offer. Yeah. Director role. New York. That's impressive, son. Thanks. Mom reached over and squeezed my hand. Whatever you decide, we support you. I looked at her. Really looked at her. You mean that? I do. I know I haven't always been supportive. But I see you now, Adrian. I see what you've built. And I'm so proud. Dylan raised his glass. To Adrian. Who proved that dead-end jobs don't exist when you're good at what you do. Everyone laughed. Even me. We clinked glasses. And for the first time in years, I felt like I belonged at this table. I took the job. Gave my Paris team a month's notice. Helped hire my replacement. Made sure the transition was smooth. On my last day, they threw me another party. Jean-Baptiste gave a speech. Adrien came here as a manager. He leaves as a leader. Paris will miss him. But New York is lucky to have him. Marie handed me a gift. A framed photo of the team standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. On the back, they'd all signed it. So you don't forget us, she said. I couldn't forget you if I tried. We hugged. We cried a little. We promised to stay in touch. And I meant it. 6 months into the New York role, I was sitting in my office on the 32nd floor of a building in Manhattan. Floor-to-ceiling windows. A view of the city. A team of 25 people across 3 countries. My assistant knocked. Adrien? Your 3 o'clock is here. Thanks. Send them in. The door opened. A young woman walked in. Mid-20s. Nervous energy. Clutching a portfolio. Mr. Harris? I'm Emma. I'm interviewing for the communications coordinator position. Have a seat, Emma. She sat. Fidgeted with her portfolio. Relax, I said. I'm not scary. She smiled. Sorry. I'm just nervous. This is my dream job. Why? Because I want to do work that matters. I studied environmental science, but everyone told me I'd never make money doing it. That I should go corporate. But I don't want that. I want this. I leaned back in my chair. Let me tell you something, Emma. 2 years ago, my brother told me I had a dead-end career. He said I was treading water. That I'd never build anything real. Her eyes widened. And you know what? He was wrong. Not because I proved him wrong, but because I stopped letting other people define what success looks like for me. What happened to your brother? He lost his VP job. Now he works for the same nonprofit he used to mock. And he's happier than he's ever been. She smiled. That's a good story. It's a true story. So here's my question. Are you doing this because you want to prove someone wrong? Or because you genuinely care? I care. I really care. Good. Then you're hired. Wait, really? Really. Start Monday. She stood up, shaking my hand way too enthusiastically. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't thank me. Just do good work. She left, practically floating. I turned back to my window. Looked out at the city. And I thought about that birthday dinner. The dry cake. The laughter when Dylan called my career a dead end. I thought about how far I'd come. Not because I needed to prove anything, but because I believed in myself when no one else did. My phone buzzed. Dylan, congrats on the new hire. Heard she's great. Me, how did you already know? Dylan, we're colleagues now, remember? Word travels. Me, fair enough. Dylan, you coming home for Thanksgiving? Me, wouldn't miss it. Dylan, good. I'll make sure no one makes fun of your job this time. Me, appreciate that. Dylan, love you, bro. Me, love you too. I set my phone down, looked back at the city, and smiled. Because I'd finally learned the truth. Success isn't about titles or salaries or proving people wrong. It's about building a life you're proud of. Even if no one's watching. Especially if no one's watching. And that was worth more than any birthday cake could ever be.